You ready to pop these cigars or what?
Well, you can. I can't smoke in the house. I
I know
got.
I'm the same way. I'm telling you. That's why I came in the garage. I mean, I could have been in my office. We could have talked in my office, but I light that cigar up. I'm not going to hear the end of it.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of I Know This Guy, the podcast where we dive deep into the lives of some of the most interesting people I know. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to I Know This Guy wherever you get your podcasts. By the way, my kids want me to say something about ringing a bell. What the hell's a bell?
On this episode, we'll be talking to George Verdugo. If you don't know him, you will. He's changing the face and breaking the stigma of the cannabis industry. You are one of the most colorful guys I know. A matter of fact, I mean, I don't know too many people more colorful than you. Tell me a little bit of history.
Well, I was born and raised in East Los Angeles,
Could never tell.
and grew up in Los Angeles my whole life, and kind of went to school, did what I had to do. I didn't graduate from high school. I ended up getting my GED years later, but I did a lot of partying when I was young, and so with that, I started kind of working, had a family at real young, my kids, and so I raised my sons, and we just went forward, man. We lived in Los Angeles. We ended up moving to Kansas City around 2000, the year 2000. We moved out here, and it was probably one of the best decisions I made coming to Kansas City. All my kids are doing well now, and so that's what happened in my life in a sense with that.
You got into domain brokering, and if I understand correctly, I mean, there was times where, I mean, you were flat broke. I mean, you were struggling to make ends meet, weren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a time where it was really bad for me. I lost everything. We were living in motels and garages, and then I made the move to Kansas City. But
you had that, didn't you have that fairy tale sort of, one day some guy saw one of your domains and just said, "Hey, buddy, I got an offer here," and it was like, all of a sudden you can cash out and start buying real estate. Wasn't it? What I heard a story through the grapevine.
I bought a domain in 2011. It was casasbaratas.com, which is cheaphouses.com in Spanish, and I got involved in buying real estate, flipping real estate. And so I bought the name to use it as a platform to reach the Hispanic market. And so I would buy the properties and then put them on my platform and flip them. So I've been doing that for the last 9 years now. And it's been the best thing I ever did. That domain it really changed my life. It kind of brought me out from being a renter to now a homeowner, multiple homes here in Kansas City. Now I own a nice commercial building. So my life kind of changed with that one.com, to be honest with you. And that's when I really saw the light on exact match names, having the exact name, because when I launched that platform, I mean, it was kind of crazy because, I didn't have any money for advertising. And that domain kind of showed me, hey, if it did it for this domain, if I get another exact match name and I launch it, then I'm going to rank number one on Google. I'm going to do well. I'm going to get traffic. And that's exactly what's been happening to some of my domains. Doing something that nobody's doing in Los Angeles, man. There's some stuff that I'm going to do that it's going to be pretty wild, especially building my own brands within my brand. So, one of the domains I recently purchased about 6 months ago was get420.com. And the company that I'm starting is US Cannabis Delivery. So I ended up buying the domain uscannabisdelivery.com, the exact match name. And then I said to myself, well, I mean, that's a name, that's a brand name. I said, but how are the people going to type it on their phone? I said, that's a lot of letters right there. You know what I mean? So I went and I swiped out Get 420. I was thinking about mobile, you know, and that's like the perfect name. I think that's one of the baddest names, man. I really love Get 420 because there's no negative in it. You know, everybody knows what 420 is, but it's not saying get weed, right? Or get marijuana, and then you put it on billboard on advertisement. You have these kids looking at get weed. I mean, but they see get 420. It kind of, you know, a lot of people won't understand it except people who are in the space know what's going on. And I've been buying domains around that brand. I'm also tapping into the Spanish market really heavy in Los Angeles. I got some really bomb, really like the goodherb.com, the highlife.com, you know, marijuanas.com, a lot of really cool Spanish brands, man. So we're going to be launching like a lot of Spanish brands behind Get 420, and we're going to market the crap out of it to the Hispanic population there. There's a lot of people that are doing different things, right? They're calling other names like Orange Crush and Fruit Loops, and I'm staying generic. I'm staying with I'm getting names, and I'm using powerful strains with them. Like, for example, I bought a domain called La Sad Girl. Now, I don't know if you know La Sad Girl's the sad girl, but in the community, in the Spanish community, everybody knows what La Sad Girl is. So, you know, we know it's a sad person. So I'm going to use kind of like reverse psychology in a sense. And we're going to put sativa, you know, into La Sad Girl. So in other words, if you smoke this, you get happy, right? You're energetic. You're not sad no more. So I'm using some of these domains in a really dynamic way.
You got me the other night. You're talking about, I got this great name. Chocolate tie. Like, yeah. What the hell is a chocolate tie? And you're going, oh, it's going to make millions. What? So it's another strain, right?
Yeah, that's a really iconic strain. I just couldn't believe it was for sale, man. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, you know me, I bought it and I said to myself, okay, now we're going to be the authoritative on chocolate tie. And when we launch it, best believe me, it's going to be a multi-million-dollar company. Trust me. Because everybody's going to want that. We're going to be sold out. I already see what's going to happen. You know, it's already sold out because you could only sell so much. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep demand. But I know once I build that right there, that's going to be for me to own that is just so cool, man.
Yeah.
As a young, I'm not going to say how old I was, but I was young when I used to smoke chocolate tie. I remember wearing a hat, and I had a band that said chocolate tie on it when I was a kid, and that was so freaky that domain was available, and I bought it. It was on a buy it now at GoDaddy, and I just snatched it up, and I'm like, how could do people understand how powerful this strain is? Like they didn't have, and I'm just unbelievable that I got it, you know. And so I know with that one there, that's a home run right there, grand slam, you know.
So what do you think, like with the politics of, you know, what's going on right now? And, you know, do you think that weed is going to have this whole new look, this whole new feel? Because, you know, it's always had this connotation, depending on what side of the fence you're on. Either, it was the gateway drug, or it was, you know, you couldn't do anything better. This was the heal-all. Like, where do you see this going right now? And are you starting to see a lot of politics, you know, surrounding it?
Course, politics is the number one key, I think, in the marijuana space. They're the ones that have to pass the laws for it.
Yeah, good, bad, or ugly, though.
Yeah, you're right. But I think, the cannabis space, let's just call it the way it is. Opioids are killing, hundreds of thousands of people a year. I never looked at the studies, but I mean, we just heard Martha Eldridge or Maria, whatever her name is, her son died from opiate overdose just the other day. So you figure, man, these pharmaceutical companies have this control over all our lives, right? And so you're sick, you're messed up. Hey, take this, but you take it for a year and then your liver's messed up, or you take this and take that and then your kidneys are messed up, or you drink 2 pills and drink a beer and then you never wake up again. Like, serious?
Yeah.
So, that's the thing I think that politicians, the states have to see. But like I said, this is all, the pharmaceutical companies, man, they're controlling, they have their, they pay their people, man. They pay their lobbyists and everything to keep that flowing, you know what I mean? But, you know, and then you look at other big companies like Bayer and some of these other big companies, they're starting to get into the cannabis space too, man.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, they'll be getting into it big.
Yeah, they're getting into it big, man. So even Coca-Cola, man, I don't know if you know the story, but Missouri opened up. I was going to put a laboratory in Missouri. They shut me down because I had to live in Missouri for a year. Now, I have some property. I could have went over there and stood at one of those properties part-time and maybe got a license, but I didn't know the whole scope of it until the rules came out, and then we knew. But Budweiser spent $600,000 to get some cultivation licenses, and they didn't get nothing. Budweiser didn't get nothing. Could you believe that? Unbelievable.
Wow.
And they lost $600,000 on their whole little venture. They didn't get nothing.
Yeah.
So, you know, you figure, you know, why didn't Budweiser get a license? I don't know. But that's something that I think in the future we'll know more of why some of these states are not giving the licenses to different people or people that are kind of legit companies, right, that could do really good for the state. You know, I think cannabis, you know, is going to be like alcohol. But it's not really like alcohol. It's more like medicine, you could say. You know, it's more like a pharmaceutical.
I can tell you a story about this. And I mean, this hits home. Like, this was my mother. So she's got this thing that started happening about 2 years ago where she would just pass out, you know? She would just be walking and she'd pass out. And when she first started to do this, she broke her back. You know, she fell to the ground, she broke her back. So they brought her back home, did it again. She broke her back again. So they had to fuse, you know, the vertebrae. Well, she's done that 9 times. She's broken her back 9 times.
Wow.
So anyways, they had her on morphine. They had her on, you know, just different painkillers. They finally put her on fentanyl and she couldn't take it. Like, she was allergic to it. And I'm sitting there going, Ma, I mean, oh my God, the last thing you want to be is on fentanyl. So I said, look, you got to get, like, just try CBD. So, you know, we were able to go out, get her this, you know, really powerful, strong, I don't know what the strength was, but anyways, I live in Toronto, okay, north of Toronto, and she lives in North Carolina. I was there for just a few days, and by the time I walked in the door, she couldn't get off the couch. By the time I left, she was walking. And about 2 weeks later, she actually walked outside.
Wow.
So she was bedridden for at least a year. And they had her on all this shit. And here it is. You know, why didn't they try CBD? Like, that's what I said. Like,
Yeah.
Why didn't they try that before friggin' fentanyl?
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, I mean, that's great what you're doing. And I love the other part about this is, man, you are vertically integrated, my friend. I'm just seeing you just put the pieces into the puzzle, you know? You're doing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Exactly what I'm doing. It's like a puzzle, man. And I can see myself picking the pieces that I need.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, the thing is, like I said, there's companies right now that are really, like, you know, they're big companies, man. And I'm learning from their mistakes right now, believe it or not, because we haven't launched. So we're kind of looking and say, man, this guy, you know, how could this guy do this? How could this guy do that? Right? You know, how could this guy fail? They raised $600 million and they still need more money. How? Give me $1 million. I'll show you how to do with $1 million. Easy.
Yeah.
So you figure all this money's coming in from the cannabis space, but there's nobody who's really got it by the bullhorn, by the horn. I'm not saying I'm gonna be the one, but I know I'll be one of the players, man. You know, of course, because of the domains that I'm getting, the branding and all that I'm doing. I know that eventually, you know, people are gonna recognize what I'm doing. You know, which I really honestly don't want the recognition. I want to stay low.
Yep.
But I don't know how I'm gonna do that because I know some of the brands that are gonna pop out, they're gonna be very dynamic.
You talk about being, you know, you give me $1 million. Well, that's the difference between an entrepreneur and a corporate. Yeah, I got words for it, but, you know, they can't do nothing. You know, if you want to make a decision, and I've seen you make decisions where, holy shit, I'm going to buy that domain for $25,000 or $5,000. I'm going to make this thing happen, and it happens. You know, and then you got all these, you know, these guys that have to take time and they have to evaluate it. We know what we want to do, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I think there's a difference. I know there's a lot of good guys, man, that have some really kick butt names, man, but I don't know. They want to flip them. They want to sell the domains, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I wish I had that one. But I know I can only do so much, and that's the thing that I have to. I have so much vision for all my platforms. It's ridiculous. I know exactly what I want to do with about maybe 100 domains. I know exactly the plan. I know the logos in my head. I know the strategy that I need to do. I know everything about all my domains. So, but I know I can't do them all. So I know the ones that I got to launch are going to help me fund to help bring somebody in to help me launch those other brands and start selling my brands for a lot of money. That's the name of the game, selling the brands. I want to retire. I mean, I made a goal when I was 20 years old. I'll never forget it, man. And that I said, I want to have kids as fast as I can. And I want to retire by the time I'm 55. Well, I'm 54 and I'm going to retire. Like technically, I'm technically retired because I technically haven't worked in 10 years because I buy and flip properties. I don't really work hard, right? So, but I think to really say it's done, I think I'm going to hit my goal, man. It's going to be
right.
Cool. I'm really excited about what's happening. This COVID thing really messed it up, but it's cool. We'll make a comeback and go forward with it.
Yeah, for sure. So I got another, when we start talking about weed, cannabis, whatever you want to, call it, it's got this connotation and it really kind of pisses me off. But, we're talking just before we got onto the podcast about this, but, all these poor people that are put into jail or have had to spend time in jail because they get caught with a joint or some, I don't want to ram anybody, but, it's just, it's crazy that, people are actually spending time in jail. And you know what? I don't smoke. I might have had a little bit when I was younger, but now, I don't smoke, but I don't have any problem with it. And I don't see how people can have this issue with, weed.
Well, it's the stigma, man, behind it. And, I think this happened probably when Nixon was in office, when I think he started talking about pot and, all these politicians, bad for you, and I've never heard anybody ODing from pot. I never heard anybody OD or commit suicide from pot. So I just think it's just the stigma of it. And like I said, now that the technology is so epic now you can see the benefits of what the cannabis plant can do, what's natural, organic benefits for us, right? Now, those people that went to jail, I think it's silly to get a joint, you take them to jail. I mean, how much does it cost the city to write the ticket, to put them in jail, to feed them, to keep them in there for 30 days, and then just say you got a $500 fine? But then you fed the guy for 30 days. How much you spend there?
Right. Yeah.
$20,000 to keep them in there, when you really add the numbers. So, I think, as long as people, I feel, in my opinion, if they smoke responsibly, and I think it shouldn't be an issue, man. If now they're smoking, they're getting crazy, driving all stupid, and
that's a different story. That's like drinking and driving, right?
Yeah, those people need to be punished to the full extent of law. But if somebody, is going home and they had a rough day, and they want to drink a beer or smoke a joint, I mean, that's their prerogative. I don't think, they should be punished for having a small amount of weed in their car. I mean, I think it's ludicrous. But like I said, California right now, with all this that's happening, it's kind of showing what's really happening there. And there's a lot of good things coming out there. Right now during the lockdown, man, pot is exploding over there in California. But it shows you how many people are stressed out, and that pot's really helping people to stay mellow. Imagine if they couldn't smoke no pot or nothing. The people be drinking. There'll be more abuse. There would be more alcoholism. There'll be people probably just going nuts, right? But I think, like I always tell people, if you put 5 guys drinking in a bar together, getting drunk, and you put 5 guys that are smoking weed over here, who's the ones that are going to fight first?
Yeah.
the alcohol guys are gonna, the guys that get drunk are gonna want to fight. Their pride. Get all piece of the Hulk, and I'm gonna kick your butt. Shut up.
Yeah, yeah.
You got a guy with pot. Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, man. And they're mellow, they're calm. They're relaxing, they're laughing. It's just a whole different. It's like night and day, man.
Oh, even this is how stupid it is. It goes from one extreme to the other. So I sell soap. You've had my soap. You've bought my soap.
Yeah.
I use hemp oil. Okay.
Yeah.
I got my product suspended off of Amazon because of hemp oil. I couldn't use the word hemp.
That's ridiculous.
Isn't that crazy?
That's ridiculous. Yeah, but that's the thing. I think with Jeff Bezos, what's funny about Jeff Bezos? He's doing all this. I really believe that he's gonna get in the delivery space. I really believe that he'll have the platform where people are going to put their pot on Amazon, they're going to order, and they're going to deliver it to their house. I just see that's going to happen there. I just know it.
Yeah.
You see other companies that are taking that same route that I feel, GoPuff.com, I like their name, but it doesn't match their delivery service. GoPuff is like a cannabis thing. But they're using it, man. They just raised $860 million a couple months ago because everybody's buying online and they're delivering online. Now you see Pepsi launch snacks.com, and that's catering to who?
I never thought of that.
Who are they catering to? They're not saying it, but who are they catering to?
Oh.
Catering to the cannabis users, bro. That's exactly what they're setting it up for.
Oh, the munchies.
Yeah, and so I and by that anyways, like even before Pepsi launched snacks, I went and bought getmunchies.com. So, because I already know that's exactly what's going to happen. I think there'll be a time where I could deliver weed, and then I'm going to take them a Pepsi, M&M's, potato chips, okay, all one pack, deliver the weed and the munchies. Here it is, right? One-stop shop. Let's do it.
Vertical integration.
Yeah, and see, they're doing it. They're and the reason why they got in because GoPuff started delivering candy. If you read the story on GoPuff, pretty amazing how these guys launched this company selling candy to the dorms and delivering it to their dorms in Philadelphia. And then also you look at the company. What's the company out of New York? I forgot their name. Drizzly or Driftly. I don't know. It's a weird name, but man, they're making millions delivering beer, alcohol, wine. It's crazy. So you're looking at this new generation of people that they're so busy and they don't have the time to go to the store, or they don't want to go to the store. They don't want to stand in those lines. And now with this COVID-19,
right?
They don't want to get out. They don't want to get it. So they say they'll pay the delivery service to get their stuff. So that's the crazy thing about what's happening in the cannabis space and how these big companies are kind of slowly itching into that right now.
Yeah. So what do you see? Where do you see this whole industry going?
Well, I think in the next 5 years, 10 years, I think in the next 5 years we should be legal across the board. That's when the companies who are that have the baddest names or the baddest brands are going to be the ones that are going to be spearheading this. I really believe that. There's a lot of people. There's 180 delivery companies in Los Angeles right now, California, but there's only very few that have really cool names. Maybe 10 companies that I know that really have really kick-ass names, and those are the brands that are really doing well. There's some that are failing for whatever reason. I don't understand how they're failing when they raise 200, 300 million, and they're still failing. I can't comprehend that. I don't understand it, but
yeah.
I've never been at that level, so I don't know what's going on, but I know that I'm learning. I am watching all their mistakes, so I won't replicate them. When I launch, I'm going to launch, it's going to be self-made. I'm not, we're right now we have no investors. That's what's crazy. We have no investors in the lab. Me and my brother funded that, and then we have no investors in delivery service. Well, everybody, like 80% of those people have investors, so we don't have to report to anybody. That's a good thing about it. I just don't want nobody to tell us what to do, bro. That's my key, man.
You're an entrepreneur.
We want to get out of here, man. Yeah, you might have the money. I mean, we've been offered money and everything, but we rejected everything already. We rejected crazy stuff.
Okay, so without incriminating yourself, I don't know if this is an incriminating question, but I know I've seen pictures. What amount is the largest amount of weed you've been around?
Oh my God, container.
I know. I saw it.
Container, bro.
Just a container.
A big container full of it, bags and bags full of it. Like,
Is that the picture where you're on the ground just curled up in the fetal position?
no, I think this was, I mean, there's been a couple, I've been around bales, big bales too.
Yeah.
But I think when I connected with Mr. Latif, he's the CEO of Jack Herrera, one of the most like one of the iconic strains. I connected with him and we became like friends, and he invited me and my brother to their facility, and it was so cool, man. I mean, Jack Herrera is one of the baddest strains, man. And so they let me inside this container, and it was like, wow. It was I've never seen just stacked with weed, man, and I'm like, wow. But it was in California, right? So it was legal, and it was in a legal situation there. So, but yeah, that's probably where I've been with the most now, and it was pretty cool just seeing that. I took a picture too. I'm like this, with all these bags. Everybody laughs at that picture, like, what the heck? You don't see too many guys taking pictures like that,
No, no, that's the one I saw, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, a lot of people freak out on that one. They go, man, dude, what the heck, man? Where were you? But I tell everybody, hey, dude, it was in a legal setting. It wasn't nothing illegal. I wasn't in Mexico somewhere, in a warehouse. You didn't taking a picture like that. Heck no.
Or were you?
Yeah, no, not me.
So let's get into the next segment. We do this thing every week where it's kind of fun. It's just real or fake news. All right, are you ready? Here's a couple of fake news headlines for you. Alex Jones says he's considering eating neighbors if COVID-19 lockdown continues.
I believe that dude said that.
I do too.
He's crazy enough to say something like that.
Yeah. All right, you touched on this one. Jeff Bezos. He said that Amazon will start selling marijuana products under health and wellness category starting January 2021.
Well, I don't think in 2021, but I think by 2025.
Yeah. If I can't sell hemp oil, I don't think he's going to be selling too much weed. No. All right, and the last one. Kentucky Derby fans can watch turtles race instead of horses this weekend.
I don't believe that. Well, it might be true because I know I heard a race with turtle, but I don't think the Kentucky Derby is going to do that.
It's true, my friend.
Is it true? Wow.
It is true.
Unbelievable. Like, really? You're going to sit there for an hour to see a turtle run like 10 feet?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we did have a turtle. Yeah. Pretty fast.
That's crazy, man.
I know. Hey, George, this is our listener question segment. So I got a question from John who says, do you foresee a shift to online weed retail thanks to COVID?
Yes, absolutely. Right now, there's millions of people stressed out right now.
Right.
They're super stressed out. Some of them don't even have income coming in. And there's some people that are just, they want to relax now that they're not working, right? They want to relax and smoke at home. There's a lot of people that work that don't smoke, but now they're smoking. They're kind of helping themselves relax during this really, really serious time.
Yeah, or maybe just trying it out. Yeah.
Yeah, or trying it out. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on because of this. Mm-hmm. I mean, nobody saw this. Nobody saw this COVID. Nobody saw this was going to happen. We knew something was going to happen. We didn't know the magnitude of what's taking place. But like I said, I think we're, hopefully the states start opening up. That's the big key, man. Because if we stay like this, it's we're gonna have to say bye-bye to a lot of things. Right?
Well, I know one thing. When this is all over, I'm going to invite my mom down to your place, and you can smoke some chocolate tie with her.
There you go. There you go. She'll like it too. She'll be very energetic.
I bet you she would.
Like,
So I got another question here from Corey, who says, "What's the next big thing in weed? What do you think?"
I think the next big thing in cannabis is probably going to be, like an AI type of thing, identification type of thing. Because right now everybody's got to give up their license. Or I just think there's a guy I talked to recently. He's saying he's going to implement AI to his delivery service, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to do that because I told him, hey, I don't think I'll do that because there's a lot of guys that they don't want to be identified, man. And so I think that's the next big move. There's new technologies that are going to move into the weed space. I foresee maybe drone services coming involved and, dropping off the weed at their pad, so there's a lot of crazy things that are still evolving. There's also new verticals that are opening up too, behind this weed stuff. And you're looking at, even drinks and beer and they're
beauty products. I mean, there's so many things.
Yeah, they're doing so much stuff. Like, it's just ridiculous. But the people's curiosity is springing up a lot of cool things. I've seen a lot of cool things. There's a guy that I'm connecting with for my delivery service. He sells jars, like the jars, but he has a special pump in the jar to keep it fresh. So I'm going to be the first one to deliver weed with pumps in the thing. So after you open it, close it, you let the air in, right? And it dries out the weed. Well, you could push the pump, extracts the air out, and keep it fresh. So I end up buying the domain lockitfresh.com. I'm going to use it.
I know you would do something like that.
Yeah, and I bought weedpump.com. So, because I'm going to brand those. I'm going to get that and brand them under my brand and then use those domains like Weed Pump and just sell the caps.
Yeah.
And then, with the other domain, Lock It Fresh, that'll be on every jar, that's fresh. And so, that's what I do. That's the way I think. If I see something and I try to brand it on my own self, I'll go and get the domain to try to put it together and just kind of, drive traffic. I mean, it just looks cool when you have stuff like that.
Right.
Right now I'm buying emoji domains right now. I'm real big on the emoji domains. And I just bought the delivery emoji.
Oh.
Truck. I own the truck.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be on all the jars. It's going to have the little truck.ws. Just go to your phone, 3 characters. You go straight to the site, reorder again. And I'm buying some other ones right now. I bought the vampire. Why you can use the vampire? Well, I own the domain La Vampira, which is going to be a sativa strain, and I'm going to use the emoji and put it on the jar as my brand. So just doing like really unique stuff. Like nobody's doing this, of course, but like I said, I'm doing something a little different that's going to bring a cool branding aspect to my brands,
We got one more question here from Willie and Julia. And I'm not sure if you know about this, but financial institutions, like, is there a problem processing payments when it comes to weed? Cannabis?
Yes, there is. I think there's still a problem, but there's some companies out there that are finding loopholes in the policies and procedures pertaining to the money. Of course, the banks won't accept it right now, which is kind of stupid because it's actually, there's money. I mean, there's billions of dollars sitting in people's basements around the United States.
Well, if it's legal, why don't they accept the money?
It's under the federal guidelines. It's still considered illegal. It's not. It's just illegal in certain states. There's a lot of states that it's still illegal. So it's a Schedule 1, I think it is. I don't remember Schedule A or Schedule 1, but because of that, that's what's holding up the banking situation. But once they open that up, man, people are going to be they're going to dump billions into the banking industry. That's going to help them to do new loans for new companies, right? To do a lot of things with that, right? So they hold our money and they go ahead and they use it, but we get to get it back, right, whenever we want. The banks like invest in other things, right? They invest in other stuff, whatever, to roll the money in the banks. But I just think because of what's happening on the federal level, that's why they're shutting it down. But I'm hearing California is going to open up. Hopefully by the end of the year they'll pass the banking law there, and you're going to see a lot of cool little banks open up, man.
So, George, you provided us a quote, and it's, you have to be in it to win it. So can you give us a couple of sentences about why that's an important quote for you?
Well, I think as an entrepreneur, you have to be involved in every aspect of your company. Like you just have to do it, man. That's the way I look at it. And, to make it successful, you have to be involved in it. There's just no way around it. I mean, you're the founder. You can't let nobody else run with your vision. Now, when the company's established, then you put people in your place, right, that have similar attributes to how you see things. And but I look at it when I say, you got to be in it to win it. It is what it is, man. You just have to do it. If you want to be successful, you got to be involved all the way. There's no half-ass. And if you're going to do it, you do it all the way. I also live by that motto. I know it sounds crazy, go big or go home. Like, what? How could you go big? You're not big yet. I understand, but I mean, the domain, when I do domain purchases, that's the way I think. Either you buy it or you don't buy it. Either you want to be number one in that vertical, or you don't want to be number one. So it kind of, I transcends to everything that I do, and you got to be in it to win it. I even have domains around that, bro. Really cool, like justwinbaby.com and some other cool names. We got it, baby. Because I really believe in. I mean, I'm real competitive, man. I played sports when I was young. I played on a team in 1978. We were the LA County champions. We played like 60 teams. We came out on top. So I've been competitive. I played a little bit in high school, but because I didn't really go to school and I didn't really study, I didn't end up getting on those teams because you have to have good grades. But I've always had that competitive part of me where I just want to be on top somehow. I want to be, the guy that built this brand, and it sold for a lot of money, and that's my dream. That's everybody's entrepreneurial dream, is to be very successful, man. Work hard and be successful. And I thank God for my wife, because my wife, she trusts every decision I make. In the beginning, it wasn't like that. But I proved to her through the years that what I'm doing is working. And now, like, I could go and purchase a domain, for 10,000, 15,000, whatever. And she's not going to say nothing. And I know a lot of the times for entrepreneurs, especially me, like for me, I'm kind of like, I have this and I have this and I have this and I have this and I have this. And I work all those brands on a daily basis. I do a little bit of marketing here, doing all this, but I think that whole concept of, you got to be in it to win it is you have to be 100% involved, but I'm just throwing my parts out there, doing the best that I could to try to get everything afloat, right? And then eventually just sell them. I just want to build them out to sell them, man. I want to sell out. I want to sell my companies for a lot of money. I know it takes work, but I have some of the domains that I have. They're legit. They're legit.
How many times did your wife have to slap you across the head before she started to trust you?
You know what? She never, it was only one conversation we had, bro. And that's when I took the risk, when I bought casasbaratas.com. I'll never forget it. We had about, $3,000 saved to the bank.
Yep.
And the domain was $3,000. And I told my wife, I gotta buy this name. This is the biggest name in the Spanish real estate. And my wife goes, well, what are we going to do for Christmas? And I said, look, man, I don't know, but we have to get this name. In order for us to really make it, we got to get this name. And I bought it. And the rest is history. It worked. It worked. It didn't. I didn't fail. It worked. So that's when I saw the power of exact match names. But in saying that, it was just one conversation we had, and that was it. And ever since my wife, you know, she knows what I'm doing, and she knows the offers I get, so she knows legit. You know, she knows that the domains that I get, that people do want them. You know, that's the key. Yeah, it's hard, bro. It's hard because, you know, one of my regrets, and I was talking to my wife this, I go, you know, what's your biggest regret? I go, one of my regrets is probably not spending enough time with my kids when they're younger, because I put everything into cheap houses, man. And so, you know, that's my only regret, if not, you know, going on more vacations when I couldn't, because I was investing all my money back into the platform, right? Into doing what I had to do until I got that break. And then all of a sudden, now when I got that break, my kids were already out of high school already. They're already, you know, yeah. But it's okay, because like I said, even though, like I tell my wife and my kids, I go, you know what, my success was built on you guys, because you guys didn't bitch and say, Dad, how come you didn't take me to Disneyland? And Dad, how come you didn't do this to me? None of my kids have ever told me that. You know, they understood that I worked my butt off, you know, to accomplish something, right? And I told them, I promised all my kids, I said, look, dude, the next couple of years, all you guys are going to be set up really well. Don't worry. This is all going to pay off. When it matters now, when you're older, now you know what real life is. Now you know what it is to pay a mortgage. Now you know what it is to pay bills. I'm going to come in and step in and help every single one of my kids.
Right.
That's when it matters now. You know, so that's the cool thing about it, is I'm going to be able to help them, man. I'm excited. I can't wait to see their faces when I hook them up, you know, when I help them and give them money and buy them a house and do all the things I need to do to help them. Before I leave this planet, I want to make sure all these kids are taken care of.
Right.
And my wife, of course.
Well, going down that line, I'd really like to know your biggest failure, and then I want to know how you worked out of it, and then what did you learn from it?
Well, I think as I begin to think about my biggest failure, I think that I would really, really look at what happened with my family, my kids. I think that's where I think, I mean, I technically haven't failed in business, believe it or not. It's unbelievable that I could say that. But I think the failure of not supporting my kids the way I wanted to when they were young. You know what I'm saying? Because once you become an entrepreneur, you know, it doesn't happen overnight, man. It takes years and years. And not only that, you know, it takes years to build your credibility in the internet space, you know, with the brand. So I think that's probably, and how I got out of it was, now that I'm starting to succeed, you know, now, you know, my kids are seeing that part of me now. Finally, Dad's really going to hit it. Now they're going to make it. You know, we're going to do it. You know, we're going to have that status, man. So I think, you know, you kind of have that part that I look back on, that kind of like a little monkey on my shoulder, but then I don't really focus on it, because like I said, for me to get to where I am now, it took a lot of work, man. And everything, I think everything was designed this way. This was my path, in other words. You know, this is my time now. Now it's really my time. You know, and so, you know, and I'm glad, bro, I'm not recognized. I'm glad that nobody reports on me. I'm glad that I'm not on all these podcasts. I'm really glad. I mean, I'm doing it with you because you're my friend. But best believe me, there'll be a day I'm shutting everybody down. I'm not doing nothing, because, you know, I just want to keep my life private, you know, as much as I can. Because I know once you get to a certain status, man, then, you know, you gain all these crazy calls coming in. And I know, because I have a couple of friends that are successful, man, and they tell me, George, the first thing you got to do, you got to change your phone number, you know, straight up. And that's exactly what I'm going to do the minute we start hitting it big. And only certain friends like you guys, a couple of my friends have my phone, but not everybody's got my phone number. And because I realized that, once you get to a certain level, now I'm going to be making bigger moves. I'm going to be acquiring companies. I'm going to be buying real estate. I'm going to get involved in the cultivation. I'm going to get involved in the distribution. Eventually we're going to be doing like all these other companies are buying. We're going to be doing the same thing. It's only a matter of time. But that's when, like I said, my biggest failure was not being like, I was there, but I wasn't like, let's go here, let's go fishing, let's go here, let's go to the lake, let's go to Disneyland, right? I didn't get to do that with my kids that much growing up. I just couldn't, man. I was so zoned in and trying to figure this out. And you gotta understand, I had no mentors, man. Nobody helped me. I mean, one of the only guys that really talks to me is Colin Campbell. I call him once in a while. He gives me advice, but and I call a couple of the guys in the domain industry when I get an offer. Really good guys, man. Good. I have a lot of good friends in the internet industry, and a lot of them had, kind of guided me, or not even by guiding, but their exampleship of them being successful, man, was really radiating to me, because I wanted to do something like that. Because like I said, we came out of entrepreneurial homes. My dad was successful. My mom was successful, but not at the level we're going at, right? It's a whole different shot now what we're doing, especially when you're doing weed and you're doing real estate and you're doing domains. I think those are the best three things right now, of those three things.
Well, you got the right spot. You're invested in the right product. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're in, man. We're in. It's going to happen, bro. It's going to happen. It's going to be mind-blowing.
Yeah, it definitely will be. And you're going to make it happen. And you just touched on something. This is what this whole podcast is based on. The network. It's who you know. And it's getting out there, and, it takes time. It's not just being fake. It's going out there and helping people, and, just getting to build up your network over years. So that's why we started this thing, this podcast called I Know This Guy. Anyways, George, you've spent like an hour and a half with us. I really want to thank you for sharing your time, and I'd like to get you back here one of these days once you get everything set up and talk about your new successes, because I can't wait till these labs start to pop up.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. I'm telling you. Next time, hopefully, God willing, I'll be on Malibu on the beach, man. I'll be, the background will be the beach, bro. You know what I mean? You hear the seagulls and stuff.
There we go.
I believe that's going to happen. Nothing's going to stop us right now.
You know what we can do, George? You remember that little hotel with the Italian food where we met? And where we had those cigars down on the beach? That's what we'll have to be. That's the background. We'll be sitting side by side. How's that?
Well, we'll fly out, man. Fly you guys in. Let's do it, man.
All right, that's good.
That's going to be good. I can't wait. But we're there, brother. We're just waiting, man.
Hey, George. So thank you for being on. And now I guess this is the question we ask all of our guests. Do you know a guy?
Yes, I know a bunch of guys, but I know one guy in particular. His name is Jorge. He's a good guy, and I just connected with him recently, but he is Nipsey Hussle's partner.
Wow.
And so we've been connecting, and he was really blown away at the brands that I have. He was pretty freaked out, like, man, dude. I told him, wow, this is what I do. So we connected, and we've been going back and forth, and I'm helping him. I'm gonna help him somehow in some of his branding stuff, and he's doing some of my logos right now. This guy's a logo expert, but I could, we could connect and get him on the phone and get him on live, and we could hear about his story. He has a pretty powerful story, man.
Well, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, buddy. So once again, hey, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you, bro, for your friendship, and I know this is just the beginning, man. We're going to be doing some cool things down the line.
You're awesome, buddy. We'll see you later.
Okay, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys and gals. I Know This Guy relies on listeners' support. Please visit our Patreon page to find out how you can help. Please like, subscribe, and follow I Know This Guy on all social media platforms.